It's time for justice.
I keep getting white people telling me that I'm racist against whites, and I get so confused because you can't be racist to white people. Not only do I not have the social power in order to enact racism on a systemic level, but when we're talking about white people and white supremacy and white privilege, we're talking about white people as an entity, as a player and actor within white supremacy and those who benefit from white privilege. We're not talking about it on a personal, individual level in their personhood necessarily. And I know what you're thinking, dang, that's really dehumanizing. You're not looking at white people as just like humans and looking at them individually. Well, no, not in this context. But it wasn't me who dehumanized white people. And it wasn't other black people, and it wasn't other people of color. It was white colonizers who dehumanized white people. And don't just take my word for it, because I know y'all love to get mad at my word. So let's take the words of Aimé Césaire and his discourse on colonialism, where he's talking about how the colonizer decivilized himself, and that through these barbaric acts of colonizing and raping and pillaging, a gangrene set in, and this poison of savagery infiltrated their very being. And don't just take our word for it. Let's take the words of Jean-Paul Sartre or Frantz Fanon in The Wretched of the Earth, where, there he's begging the question, who are the true savages? Who are the true actors of barbarism? And don't just take our word for it. Take the words of Dr. Joy DeGruy and her discussing post-traumatic slave syndrome, and how she talks about all these barbaric acts of colonizing and slavery removed white people's ability to feel empathy for black people. That they're looking at us and can't acknowledge the fact that we literally feel pain as a sentient being. And don't just take our word for it. Take the words of Karen and Barbara Fields, and how they talk about racism has become so tangible due to rituals that aren't based in anything true, that we now exist in this racecraft, this illusion of racecraft. And that white people don't see themselves as the aggressors of racism. They barely see themselves as a passive actor within racism. So that's why they'll say, oh, that man got shot because he's black, instead of that man got shot because a racist shot him. Y'all all call that racism against white people, when really it's just history. It's critical race theory. That's the shit that you're afraid of your kids hearing. So no, you can't be racist to white people. And it's not us who dehumanized y'all. Y'all ancestors did. And it sounds like that's something you should probably take up with y'all ancestors.
It's time for justice.